Dear students, our new class is about antiplatelet drugs. That means the drugs which target and impair the functions of platelets. As you know, the thrombus formation in the blood vessel will ultimately leads to severe complications. The thrombus is mainly composed of platelets as well as fibrin. Arterial thrombuses are rich in platelets. So, by using these antiplatelet drugs, we can impair or block the role of platelets in the formation of thrombus. Let's see the mechanism of thrombus formation. Following a vascular injury, there will be exposure of tissue factor as well as collagen and von Willebrand factor. The tissue factor exposure leads to coagulation pathway activation, and there will be thrombin generation and fibrin formation. The exposure of collagen and von Willebrand factor results in platelet adhesion and release of certain chemotactic factors, which leads to platelet recruitment and activation and platelet aggregation. So both this pathway together leads to platelet fibrin thrombus formation. So by inhibiting certain steps in this pathway, we can block the formation of this thrombus. Antithrombotic drugs are broadly divided into antiplatelet drugs, anticoagulants and fibrinolytic drugs. Here we will discuss about antiplatelet drugs. The role of platelets in controlling the bleeding following a vascular injury is exhibited by adhesion, secretion of chemotactic agents and by aggregation. Platelets expresses various receptors on its surfaces, which includes ADP receptor, thrombin receptor as well as glycoprotein receptors. The glycoprotein receptors are GP1B and GP2B3A complex. The von Willebrand factor or the collagen, which are expressed following a vascular injury, they binds to this receptor, so there will be activation of the platelets. The activation of platelets leads to the release of certain pro-aggregatory as well as vasoconstrictor mediators. These mediators includes ADP, thromboxane A2 as well as serotonin, and there will be certain conformational changes in the glycoprotein 2B3A complex receptor. These conformational changes favors the binding of fibrinogen as well as von Willebrand factor to these receptors. This binding leads to cross-linking between the platelets. So there will be platelet aggregation as well as formation of platelet plug. Moving on to antiplatelet drugs. Antiplatelet drugs means the drugs which interfere with the platelet function. They are useful in the prophylaxis as well as treatment of thromboembolic disorders. Antiplatelet drugs are classified into 4 groups. The first is thromboxane synthesis inhibitor. Aspirin is the member in this group. And the second group is P2Y12 receptor blockers, which includes ticlopidine, clopidogrel, prasugrel, ticagrelor as well as cangrelor. Third group is platelet CAMP enhancer. The member is dipyridamole. And the fourth group is glycoprotein 2B3A antagonist, which includes abciximab, eptifibatide as well as tirofiban. This picture shows the site of action of various antiplatelet drugs. Aspirin, they act in the thromboxane A2 pathway. Clopidogrel and ticlopidine act in the ADP pathway. Abciximab, eptifibatide and tirofiban, they act by inhibiting the activation of glycoprotein 2B3A. The features of these agents will be discussed elaborately in the coming slides. Coming to first drug, aspirin. Aspirin is a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory agent as well as antiplatelet drug. It is one of the commonly used antiplatelet drug in the clinical practice. It inhibits the synthesis of thromboxane A2 by irreversibly acetylating the enzyme cyclooxygenase 1. Thromboxane A2 is a platelet aggregator. So by inhibiting the thromboxane A2 synthesis, it prevents the aggregation of platelet. At lower doses, aspirin selectively inhibits thromboxane A2 synthesis. But at higher doses, it also inhibits the prostacyclin synthesis from the vascular endothelium. Prostacyclin is a vasodilator. So by inhibiting the prostacyclin synthesis, there will be vasoconstriction. That is unwanted in this scenario. So we usually use aspirin in a lower doses. It also inhibits the release of ADP from the platelets and they are sticking to each other. This is the diagrammatic representation of the mechanism of action of aspirin. Arachidonic acid, which is derived from the membrane phospholipids, is converted into prostaglandin and thromboxane A2 with the help of cyclooxygenase 1 enzyme. Aspirin, by inhibiting this COX-1 enzyme, inhibits the synthesis of thromboxane A2. Platelets are exposed to aspirin in the portal circulation itself before the aspirin is deacetylated during its first pass in the liver. So the thromboxane A2 synthesis is inhibited even at the lower doses of aspirin, and the platelet cannot synthesize fresh thromboxane A2 as the platelet lack nucleus. So thromboxane A2 production is inhibited until the new platelets are synthesized. The usual doses are daily dose of 75 to 100 mg or 300 mg twice weekly. Effect of daily doses cumulates, and even the lower dose have an effect on platelet aggregation. So as an antiplatelet drug, aspirin is indicated in the primary prophylaxis of myocardial infarction and for the secondary prevention of other vascular events. These are the adverse effects associated with aspirin. The first is gastrointestinal. The GIT side effects varies from dyspepsia to erosive gastritis or peptic ulcer with bleeding and perforation. The risk of bleeding is there. Sometimes the patient may have allergic manifestation following the use of aspirin, and there may be hepatic or renal toxicity. Second group is P2Y12 receptor or ADP receptor blockers. So we have different agents in this group, which includes clopidogrel, ticlopidin, prasugrel, ticagrelor or cangrelor. Some are irreversible inhibitors and others are reversible inhibitors. First is clopidogrel and ticlopidin. Both are structurally related. Both are prodrugs. Ticlopidin is the first drug in this group, and clopidogrel is a newer congener of ticlopidin, which is more safer and well tolerated agent. These agents inhibit ADP induced platelet aggregation by irreversibly block the P2Y12 receptor. P2Y12 is a G protein coupled purinergic receptor which mediates adenyl cyclase inhibition by the ADP. So by blocking this receptor, this agent inhibits the activation of platelets. This diagram shows the mechanism of action of clopidogrel and ticlopidin. They act by inhibiting the ADP mediated platelet aggregation. These drugs are well absorbed orally, converted in liver to their active metabolites. They are accumulated in the body. Peak antiplatelet effects is produced after 8 to 10 days of therapy. Plasma half-life is around 8 hours after single doses, and it becomes 8 days after multiple administration. And its antiplatelet action may last up to 5 days. The usual dose of ticlopidin is 250 mg twice daily. Clopidogrel is more potent and long acting, so once daily dose is effective. Its maintenance dose is 75 mg per day, and this agent is usually used in combination with aspirin. These agents reduces the risk of myocardial infarction and stroke in patients with recent vascular events. They are also indicated in unstable angina, intermittent claudication, and for preventing the thrombus formation in the coronary stent. Coming to their side effects, first is GIT, which includes nausea, vomiting, dyspepsia, and diarrhea. Hematological side effects are neutropenia, thrombocytopenia, thrombotic thrombocytopenic purpura, and hemorrhage. Very few patients are affected with skin rashes, headache, and tinnitus. And among these agents, clopidogrel is associated with less risk of side effects. Clopidogrel has a significant drug interaction with omeprazole. Omeprazole is a proton pump inhibitor used in peptic ulcer. Clopidogrel is a prodrug which is converted into its active form with the help of cytochrome P2C19 enzyme. Omeprazole inhibits this enzyme, so it inhibits the conversion of clopidogrel into its active form. So the combination of these drugs should be avoided. Prasugrel is the newer, more potent and faster acting P2Y12 blocker. It is also a prodrug but is more rapidly and completely converted into its active form. Its effects last for 7 days. Coming to reversible P2Y12 blockers, we have ticagrelor and cangrelor. Ticagrelor, it is a directly acting agent, does not require any metabolic activation. Its onset of action is fast and is having a half-life of around 12 hours, but it has high risk of intracranial bleed. Cangrelor has rapid onset of action, so this agent is used as an IV bolus. That's all about the first part of antiplatelet drugs. We will discuss the remaining portion in the second part. Thank you.